People wait all their lives. They await the ideal moment to ideal chance, the ideal circumstances. But allow me to share with you, there is no such thing as the ideal moment if you wait and relax. Life will take care of itself. When I arrived in Hollywood, they discovered a man who didn't match their thought of a well-known actor. They said, "Your accent is too strong. And you look. You won't be successful here." If I had trusted them, I would have vanished into the mob once more. Someone who quit before they even began. But I wouldn't wait, for I didn't want someone to approve of me. Let others determine my capabilities. Instead, I took initiative and made my own route. I worked more, picked things up more quickly, and pushed past every challenge I faced. I was aware that if I didn't assume command of no one else would in my future. This is the inactuality. Nobody will ever grant you success. Nobody will ever say, "You're ready now." This is your moment to seize it. You will never feel completely at peace with yourself. Don't worry, you won't have all the abilities, all the information, and all the self-assurance, but those who achieve are the ones who proceed in any case. Haste. They initiate contact even when they fear that they will discover as they flourish through the hardship. If you continue to waiting, years will go by, and eventually you'll reflect on the past and question why you never began. But if you act right away, even if you make a mistake and fail, you will outshine those who are still awaiting authorization. The world doesn't stop for it continues to move if you don't. You will be left behind if you travel with it. Put an end to waiting, doubting, and contemplating. Perhaps tomorrow will never come, assured that the only time you have is make it now. There is an unpleasant reality that most if you don't, people will never accept you. Life will shatter you if you break yourself. Who shun discomfort out of dread of battle, those who flee adversity will never understand. I didn't know what actual strength felt like. Become the person I am now. Because I had a simple route, I pushed myself till I became Bruce Lee. I've pushed myself over my breaking point. Overwhelming fatigue that surpasses what my thoughts and body believed, that I might have broken myself. Repeatedly, and every time I rebuilt, most people desire to grow, but I'm stronger. Because they are terrified of the suffering that comes with despite their desire to be strong, they decline to endure the conflict that results in actual power. They desire achievement, but they are unwilling to ruin the version. Whatever is preventing them from moving forward, you have to be prepared to shatter. When I was exhausted, I continued to train. When there was nothing left in my body, I quit. When each muscle cried out, when each my lungs felt like they were on fire from breathing. When I realized I was becoming hurt, it was not my adversary, it was my instructor. During my martial arts studies, I didn't accept a single style. I broke all I had discovered, ripped apart the regulations, and created something new. Quicker, more powerful, and more strong, I broke the boundaries of what martial arts were meant to be used in. By accomplishing this, I made the world never before observed, but shattering you are more than your physical appearance. Strength is about your ego and mind. Your worries that most individuals are imprisoned by their personal convictions. They believe that I am incapable of, I'm not strong enough, or intelligent enough. Sufficient, yet these are falsehoods that you tell yourself since you're terrified of what occurs if you go beyond what is cozy. You should destroy these ideas that you need to destroy the previous version of you are the one who is doubtful. The person who is hesitant, the one who creates justifications when you violate that version, can you become unbreakable again? Someone who is no longer under the authority of dread of fire. When metal is present, it doesn't become weaker in a fire. Break apart, it turns into something comfort, does not make a weapon stronger. It is heated, battered, folded, and formed by pressure till it turns into a weapon. You have to treat yourself the same way. Get rid of the negative behaviors that are holding you back. Discard the justifications that prevent you from going forward. Dispel the worries that in your head nobody else will push you. Therefore, you have to, if you voluntarily step into the fire, it will put you to the test. But if you make it through, if you persevere, you'll emerge the other side as something novel because it is unstoppable. So few people achieve success because they're unwilling to endure the flames while being comfortable. They steer clear of conflict as a result. They are still too weak to bear the weight of life when it crashes down. Yet, you're not the same as you are not designed to remain the same. You are supposed to soar above being ordinary, change to become something more than you ever envisaged. So consider if you're willing to shatter as nothing will exist. If you are most people in this world can stop you. Believe that the secret to power is strength. Develop their bodies by strengthening their muscles, and think that the strongest people always win. But I discovered something else. Strength by itself is insufficient in this world. Sufficient in this doesn't belong to the most powerful a part of the when I battled. I didn't depend on brute force. I was dependent on speed. The opponents were heavier, stronger, and larger. But they were unable to touch me, which is why, before they knew what I was doing, I moved. Occurred before they had a chance to respond. The battle was already too strong. Foreseeable, it is sluggish and relies on impact force. However, speed is not the same as a weapon. The intelligence in most individuals believe that motion exclusively refers to speed. Regarding motion, but there is a lot. There is greater speed in the intellect than that. When making decisions, speed is crucial. The speed with which you address the issues of life by considering the people who are successful in today's world are not usually the most powerful one. The first to move and the first to notice a chance and seize it before those who don't do it are replaced by someone else. Do not hesitate or waste time waiting. Pondering too much. If you take too long to act, you will be replaced by someone else. If you are not quick enough to adjust, the world will abandon you. When I was training, I didn't, only I trained for speed, and I trained for power. Every kick and punch has to be more rapid. Compared to the instant, my body had to respond before my brain had a chance to consider that in a genuine battle is excessively sluggish. Similarly, if you spend too much time assuming that if you wait too long, you'll miss your opportunity to initiate a task. Someone else will complete it. Initially, if you are hesitant, the time will pass and it won't recur so frequently. People live their entire lives getting ready for wish to be prepared before acting. They try to find out every little thing out before to their commencement. But while they are planning is already being done by someone else. And when they do, eventually, try to this universe rewards action, but it's too late. It gives rewards to those who take chances and make swift decision makers who don't allow fear to slow. They look down on technology and business. Throughout history, those who altered the world wasn't always the most powerful, but the fastest they saw was always them. Where the globe was heading and arrived at prior to everyone else, they took action when others paused because strength is slow. Over time, power increases, but speed is immediate, and the capacity to see, to move before anyone else does. Even understands what's going on, this does not imply that you ought to being careless and quick, does not imply being stupid. It entails teaching oneself to act without hesitancy and think fast. To decide how to adjust before the eye taught my body to control you. For speed, but I additionally practiced my eye develop the ability to see the smallest my opponent's movements and respond prior to them even completing their struck. I was able to recognize danger earlier. When it came, I discovered how to trust my instincts due to a slow rate of thought. You have to do the likewise. Stop if you want to succeed in life. Stop doubting, stop waiting, and stop overanalyzing. Move, act in order for everything to be flawless. While others are waiting, you will strike already in the lead. But others you will already be winning if you prepare, since the world ultimately does not belong to the most powerful person. The quickest, the majority of people spend their whole lives. They dress alike in an attempt to blend in, talk and think similarly. They obey the system, abide by the rules, and hope that they will blend in, achieve success. But let me tell you something. Nobody in the world remembered out as soon as I stepped inside the eye, knew I would be in the martial arts world. I was encouraged to follow by several persons, accustomed to combat the manner in which others had battled for millennia. But I declined, since I didn't want to be another. I didn't want to be just a warrior. Another historical name. I wished to make something that didn't exist before. Previously, therefore, I disregarded the guidelines. I researched every fighting technique I could find, yet none of them were followed by me. Entirely instead, I made my own, discarded what wasn't working, and kept what didn't. Anyone tell me that this wasn't how they should scoff at martial arts. They were critical of me, but ultimately they observed me, took notes from me, and the truth is that they followed me. You are invisible. You are not different. Examine the most prosperous individuals in the greatest minds in history. Strong leaders are the most memorable legends. It wasn't they who adhered to they were the ones who dared to be among the mob. Distinct, yet it's difficult to stand out. It takes guts to defy expectations. When you decide to take a different route, others will question you and offer criticism. They'll tell you you're mistaken, not because you're incorrect, but rather because you create them. Awkward. Most people are scared to be unique because they're afraid of being rejected. They are afraid of being by themselves. However, I would like to know if you would prefer to be either one of several or one in a millions must be created in order to stand out. If you are an artist, then that is really yours. Don't paint the way everyone else does. Something that has never been observed. Don't fight before if you're a fighter. Similar to those who built theirs before you, style, rhythm, and strength of your own, if, as a thinker, you refuse to accept what others ask you, a truth question. Everything is yours. Responses that most people are afraid of, they cling to the familiar despite change, even if it restricts them. But if you'd like, you have to be brave enough to be remembered. The planet doesn't need to break free. An additional imitation It doesn't require another. The player takes precautions because it is necessary. Someone who has the courage to be. When I first arrived in Hollywood, they informed me that Asian performers don't receive lead you, should portray supporting characters. You ought to act and speak differently. Different appearance distinct, I rejected. Therefore, I didn't adapt to their mold. I forced them to switch to fit me, which is why people continue to. I did not mix, so I did not forget my name. I didn't take the route that was provided to me, so I made my own, and nowadays I ask you what you'll do and how much you'll spend. Being a shadow of someone else in your life, or will you liberate yourself and turn into something that has never been seen before? Before you make the decision. However, keep in mind, only those who are unique will ever be genuinely remembered. Most individuals think speaking louder and moving more gives you power. Quicker and more active, they believe those in charge of the individuals who create the most noise in the world. However, they are mistaken. True power doesn't originate from speaking. When I was younger, silence taught me that there is a limit to what humans can say with words. Constantly, but how many in reality? Pay attention to how many people truly notice, how many people genuinely comprehend, how the universe is noisy. Individuals scurry to offer their viewpoints, to support themselves through argument, however. In all of that chaos, true wisdom is lost. I decided to be unique when I entered a space. I didn't have to talk to get noticed just by my existence. Was sufficient. My quiet had greater impact, more than words, when people are forced to silence forces people to pay attention. Wonder. It piques their interest and makes most people talk about how much they appreciate you. Do of their discomfort with quiet. They are afraid of being alone themselves with their own ideas that permeate the atmosphere. Phrases to conceal their hesitancy. But as someone who feels at ease in quiet is someone who is actually in charge. When I martial arts training, I didn't merely. I trained my mind. I trained my body. Learned to pay attention to my opponent. Should examine their breathing. In order to motions prior to their actual attack on me. Allow them to talk and share their plan. While I said nothing invisible, the loudest one in a conflict is illegible. The one who boasts is frequently the weakest. Boasters who rely on words to show off to compensate for their lack of actual expertise, however. The silent person who doesn't express their feelings to those that don't give that is the one to take their minds away. Silence is a weapon of fear. Silence is a weapon of fear. It enables you to remain composed when others panic, helps you control your emotions. When people lose control, it to make your adversaries uncomfortable. Since they are unaware of who you are, silence is more than just thinking. Mastery is the key to having control over others. When you stop talking, you begin to hearing things you've never heard before. You may hear the specifics of the whispers. Items that are concealed beneath the surface. You silence can teach you more than you ever imagined. Could be speaking. Consider nature above all else. The world's powerful objects move in a tiger, does not roar in front of quiet. Attacks, it waits in complete silence. Storms don't make their presence known with noise. It becomes more powerful in quiet. In quiet. Prior to it striking the most brilliant minds in it wasn't history that spoke. The majority of them were the ones who paid attention. saw who comprehended before they took action to be genuinely strong. You must learn to remain silent and refrain from speaking out of anger is not an emotional reaction. Squander words, attempting to establish your worth. Your deeds speak louder than words. You may claim that when someone insults you, nothing irritates you more than your silence. Adversary more than a non-enemy respond when others are in a panic, and stay being calm will make you seem more powerful, more than everyone else in the room when they speak merely to fill the silence. Remain silent, and if you pay attention, you will learn that they will never comprehend that the weak are noisy. Because the strong are silent, make wise decisions. You desire to be merely another voice in the commotion, or would you prefer to be the one who commands the space without uttering a word? Because after you become proficient in silence, you master all that most individuals do and pass away without leaving a trace. They get up and go through the desire to pursue fleeting pleasures and then disappear into the past, forgotten like though they never existed. But only a small number of them whose names and legacy endure forever keeps going long after they've left their words, deeds, and stillness, even when they are not influence the world. Do you know why they're staying here longer? Acquired it while I was still living. Time was limited, and I was aware that each day a wasted day, was one I would never recover. I so lived intensely and trained as if tomorrow didn't exist. I studied as though my thoughts were running out of. I labored as though my legacy were on the line. On it due to the fact that even though the majority of individuals don't exist, instead they wait for opportunities in life. Of making them, they hope to succeed. But never give up on it, they say, regarding their goals yet fail to take action on them. And for that reason, they are, for what reason is no one remembered? They desired to be remembered. For their actions, a name that endures. Words are not the foundation of eternity. Built on action, the biggest error people mistakenly believe they have time. One day, they tell themselves, I will begin one day, and one day I'll change. Will accomplish something amazing, but eventually never appears. In order for your name to endure past you, you have to start now, not tomorrow, or the following day. For the past year, folks have asked me, Bruce, how you accomplish so much in such a brief lifetime, that I inform them that I didn't waste time. Every second I spent constructing at the time I didn't wait for the world to get. I force the world to acknowledge me. In order to, you have to pay attention to me. In order to be remembered, you have to work while others train or sleep. Others unwind and advance, while others you must stand for something. Therefore, don't hesitate. The person who represents nothing vanishes. Represents nothing vanishes. As soon as they leave, yet a person who inspires, who transforms lives, and who makes a novel creation that a person has never your name won't endure. Because you want it to endure since you created it's not feasible to warriors remember to forget the past. Leaders and thinkers, individuals who played it, not the revolutionaries, secure. So how are you using your? Are you leading a life that will leave an impact? Are you going above and beyond? What are you making something comfortable that will endure till your last breath? Or are you simply currently awaiting the expiration of time? I didn't survive eternity, but my name fulfilled what I said. Completed my philosophy did, because I merited it. And if you'd like, if you wish, your name can live on beyond you. To be recalled if your narrative to be told after you've passed away, then you have to earn it. 2, so choose to live like everyone else and either vanish or coexist with such fire, such intensity, such intensity, such intent that the world will always remember if these words resonated with you. Please share them. And if you're interested in finding out more, subscribe, since your path to greatness is only getting started.